President Obama with an eye to people-friendly policies today. The president telling Democrats that his top congressional priorities include an increase to the minimum wage and immigration reform. His message, Democratic Party needs to stand up for the American dream of getting ahead. And next month here, the president travels to the Vatican to meet with Pope Francis. The two men, hey, they have something in common here. They got similar takes on income and wealth inequality, and also expected to be a key issue in the run-up to the November midterm elections. Andrew, he seems to be doubling down here on inequalities here and the progressive side, which he stayed away from for the most part for the last 5 years.
You know, inequality really is, and we've just sort of picked up on this in the mainstream in the last few months, really. Inequality, if you think about it, is sort of an umbrella that carries with it a lot of other progressive policies. We talk a lot about the safety net. It's included in there too. You want to talk about labor rights or the middle class. All of these issues that we've sort of brought up independently over the last 5 years.
And they actually poll well.
Yeah, they poll well, but it also fits nicely into this concept of inequality. Then you get the fact that there really seems to be a growing divide in terms of people's attitudes towards the people who have all the money. So,
you think Democrats between now and November are going to want the president around? Because a lot of them are saying, okay, just don't come to my district.
As Andrew was answering the question, that's exactly what I was thinking about. Great message, but most Democrats don't like the messenger, or in this case, maybe that's a little strong. The messenger won't necessarily assist them. So thank you, Mr. President, and stay right over there.
He shouldn't have insulted Al Roker.
You know, what's funny is, I never in my lifetime could think that a pope and a president could be using each other politically, and it makes sense.
I think John Paul and you know, I don't know if he was as involved in Reagan-Bush policies, but I think the American conservative movement certainly benefited from the very conservative positions of the church.
Fair enough, but this one, there's a political agenda to it, more so than the stamp or the imprimatur that, hey, you know, we're of the same mind on social policies, whatever. This one, they both have an agenda, which is they both want to grow their base. You know, the Pope wants to bring more Catholics back into the fold here to say that we're not just this cloistered group in the Vatican, we're about everybody, and we don't want to scare off constituencies that they've done a good job of doing, and I say this as a Catholic, versus the president who wants to say, hey, wait a minute, people want to give food, people believe in the idea of a food stamp, they believe in extending unemployment insurance here, they believe in a higher minimum wage, why am I running away from this, right? And that's one thing Democrats can get behind in Arkansas, not just in places like California, you know?
And it's also with a goal of reminding you what the other party is not.
Although they've been good, the Republicans, in not taking the bait here in the last month.
But they have.
There's also a fundamental lesson here that Christian teachings don't necessarily equate to conservative political ideology, at least in our country. They've been wedded, really, for the last generation and a half.
I've been screaming for how long? Part of the church is to feed the hungry and clothe the naked, you know, and too many people seem to forget that, but that's part of the tenets of at least the church, you know, that I show up to on Sunday. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much here. When we come back, the captain of the Yankees prepares to call it a career. We'll talk Derek Jeter and other news with Mr. Baseball himself. Talking baseball with Ed Randall, straight ahead.